Oh, okay, so this is group 4 for the advanced portfolio presentation.
Okay, so our film is Lights Out, and it's opening by What Would You Do when the lights go out. How many of you have experienced a power cut and wondered what's going on, and how many of you are freaking out because your phones can't be charged and your fridges are warm and everything's just going. So basically, after a while, it will come back on. You're fine. But what if it didn't? All over Britain, the lights do not come back on. It's all cold, it's all dark, and we're just sitting here without our modern technology. It could happen. It could happen. So there's no electricity, there's no light, there's just darkness and quiet. We, and hopefully you, are curious about what exactly happens when technology is no longer there and suddenly gone. We don't have it. Do we go crazy, or do we just move on? So our film, Lights Out, we want to basically show what would happen with maybe a few different people and what would happen to them. So, someone else to think of.
Our film is based quite a lot on the Channel 4 programme Blackout. Our synopsis is kind of a blur. It's when the electricity cuts out in Brighton, can people learn to survive without basic technology equipment? Imagine life without light and living in total darkness with no mobile phones or Wi-Fi available. 3 different characters collide together in a fight for survival without running water, technology and modern day necessities. Yeah. We are a nation of iPhone addicts making video selfies even as the world burns and crashes down, as shown in this film. Discover this terrifying truth as Brighton tries to cope without basic electricity. Are you afraid of the dark? That's kind of like a different tagline.
So the genre of the film is a dystopian film, but there's a few subgenres like there's a bit horror, thriller elements kind of we based it on Blackout as well, but also the film Cloverfield and how all the handheld cameras. The entire film is going to be shot on handheld cameras between a few people, and that's what Cloverfield did, but with a group of people rather than separate ones, but we're doing separate. So yeah. Like Blackout.
And we've kind of made it like there's something in the darkness but no one knows what it is, so it kind of makes it a bit more atmosphere, a bit more.
My unique selling point is that a lot of it will be handheld to make it seem very real. Also the event in normal dystopian films, it's a lot about diseases and like the end of the world, but we decided to do a power cut and sort of how modern technology, if that went backwards, how we'd cope. And also there's no real main characters, there's sort of 3 groups and they're all individually main characters on their own. The trailer will start in 3 different parts, looking at the 3 different families. We're going to film it separately so we can do some handheld, some still shots and look at all the different people and how they react. Then we'll edit it all together in the edit stage and make sure it looks good. We're also going to use some quotes and a lot of news archive footage of riots and London, some fires to show how it would be quite realistic and how the real modern day world would actually react to it. Yeah, that's it.
I think quite a lot of people don't know, without electricity you can't use things like water, there's no heat or anything, so it's not just the lights are out, let's use a torch, it's everything, not being able to cook, stuff like that. And then the characters. Basically, we've got 3 different types of characters. We've got a young loved couple, which is shown through cam recorder by themselves. We've got a male and a dog when out walking. And we've got a family of 4. And all these characters come together to kind of help each other and cope through the darkness. Yeah, that's it.
And then marketing, we use the usual social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter and Tumblr. We have a YouTube channel, Instagram and all that. Competitions like freebies to get the audience involved and to create a hype around it. Distribute it to Pitch House Cinemas because we're an independent film, so we get a niche market and we are low budget, so we can't afford big audience.
And also another thing, it's quite good that we've thought about the key for advertising it, giving out little key rings with little torches on with the film onto it and when it's going to be released.
Does the torch work?
Yeah, the torch works. It's a
Okay.
huge symbol in the film also.
Okay, any other questions apart from the torch?
What will your characters be like wearing?
It's just like normal people. It's
Like what's like the costume like?
It's a modern day. It's in modern
Maybe
day.
like
So,
now, like,
yeah.
Really
no.
realistic, so just what normal people would wear really casual stuff.
Munya.
Is it going to be filmed in the dark?
Well, there's no light. Some people
We'll do a lot of it in the dark, but we'll try and do the best we
Yeah,
can.
it's going to be like daytime shots.
At the beginning, because we see when the lights go, electricity goes out. So at the beginning, it's all lights and everything. And then obviously with camcorder, you get night vision. That'd be quite a lot.
And there'll be a lot of candles and stuff to try and keep the characters in light, but yeah, there'll be a lot of dark shots.
How are you going to film night vision?
Night vision.
You just said night vision.
How are you going to do that?
Is there no fancy effects you can put on to make it do that?
Doesn't work
How are you
No.
quite as well.
Well, so you can get night effects on camcorders, and
You
it
can,
doesn't
yeah.
have. It doesn't have to be.
how do you film it?
We've got a camcorder for night vision.
Okay, rather than get stuck on the kind of filming style, have we got any other questions?
I was going to say, like, it's like, it would probably work if like, there was some sort of like battery shortage as well, just because there's a lot of things that even if you lose power, you can just get batteries.
Well, yeah.
But the main thing is like water and heat and like.
But yeah, obviously over time, batteries will obviously run out and people start to panic.
But the main thing to actually survive.
And there's no
can't
electricity.
It's like
All right,
just
thank
to be
you.
clear, it's not actually going to be like just one night. Oh, the power's gone. It's going to go over a period of time.
Is there all
It's
linked together?
Brandon.
See, the end of it is probably just like that.
Eventually it'll run out.
Yeah, exactly. But what's going to happen? We're all going to run out. It's all, yeah. So it's not just one night, one thing. Oh, well, the power's gone.
Yeah.
What's your balance of like handheld and
The majority of it is going to kind of like, I mean, there's one, the couple, like, for certain, is going to be all like, unprofessional, kind of just shaky cameras, just holding each other, just fucking around really. One of the characters are going to be using their phones, and quite a lot of footage from that. Give it just.
But also when we use that, but also I think we might use a different camera to like watch them filming themselves as a kind of like creative.
how long is your like is the film going to last? Not like as in how long the film, but over time.
Oh yeah.
So how long can they use their phone for if they haven't got?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, like for the first like beginnings of it will be the phone, obviously, and then it's going to run out on the camcorder, so it's not going to be for ages.
Right.
But there will be, like with the camera recorder, you've got a few battery powers, and until that runs out, and you figure out, oh, it's okay again. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, cool.
Is there like an antagonist or like any bad guys that like trying to keep them fight out? Or like causing it?
There's quite a big fight for like electricity in the end, like batteries and stuff. There's quite a lot of people trying to get into other people's houses, stealing, trying to steal to get power.
It's more just survival rather than an attack. It's there's no
But it is an antagonist, isn't
yeah. So,
it?
Do you want to extend that idea then?
Well, go
who's
for
your
it, it's like
antagonist?
a normal, because everyone's like friendly with each other and respect each other. But when you start running out of power and you start running out of food, it becomes survival of the fittest. So they'll be fighting over batteries and fighting over food and shelter and sort of protecting each other in small groups.
So is your antagonist going to be in one of those character groups that you have there?
Yeah, there will be. There'll be one of these people. I think there'll be quite a group of people that, because there's quite a lot of, like we were thinking about getting news clips from the when the students, was it students?
yes.
When they were protesting, there's
Yeah,
quite a lot of
riots.
looting, riots. So I think we use like a news clip of that to put into it, like people are using advantage of no electricity from like getting into shops and stealing things.
But so your antagonists are kind of general, the rest of society, rather than one of your specific
Yeah,
characters. Okay. Jack.
How's the darkness going to like resolve like itself? What's going to? Is it going to end with like Cloverfield or like just sit there and die?
I think it will eventually resolve
You have
itself.
to wait and watch it.
How are you,
Great.
it's Brighton, it's set.
Yeah, bright set, it's going to...
How are you going to show it's bright in the blackout?
Because in the pier like obviously turns off at night time.
So you're just going to use the pit?
We're
Not
going to
just
use,
the pier.
well, not just the pier, but we're going to use different aspects, like the brighton, like in the lanes and stuff.
There's parts of where I live as well, it's like, just there are no lights in some of the alleys, and I think someone already said Hollandine Lane, and there's around their area, there's no light, there's no street lamps or anything.
And what's the reason of the blackout?
What do you mean by a reason?
Like how did...
This is, you get everyday power cuts.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but it usually
areas.
lasts like a couple of hours. if that.
Exactly, but this is something different, something that's gone like a national shutdown.
You're not meant to know why the backups got out because that's the mystery to
Because
the
you
end
said
of
there's
the
like a
film.
thing. Who cares?
There might be a thing in the dark.
Okay, so the dystopia, like a lot of dystopian films, that's not so significant, is it? The reason behind it, the idea of your film and progressing through the film is the struggle behind that, yeah, and how people cope in that situation. Any other questions? Because one question I wanted to ask is how, in a sort of you use the analogy of the film Crash. How do you bring your characters together? Are you going to show that within your trailer, or
No.
there's going to be no hint of that, or is
There
there?
will be little hints.
Really? Okay.
What is that? Rather than suppose that, have you got an idea of how that's going to play out then? How are you going to show that?
Apparently she knows.
What about? Well, like I think they're quite individual, but they're quite on their own. They're trying to look for other people as well, like not like looters and stuff. They're trying to find.
So is there a contrast between your three sort of different character groups? Why have you chosen those specific character groups?
I think we wanted to show like a broad range of people. Like so we've got someone with a dog, so like an elderly person, how they would react to it. The young couple, and see how they would react differently to the older person because they've got a lot of modern gadgets. So they might find it harder with like the phones and stuff. The older person might use a landline more, so that might last longer.
Right, because I think that's an interesting concept to get different groups and how they kind of resolve things in different ways.
Kids and stuff, so they've got children.
Our target audience is quite a big range. Our rating is 12A, so the different like ages and like backgrounds can relate to certain people in the background, so white background.
Okay. Any other questions? Munir, last one.
Is it going to be filmed in 3D?
It's quite a low budget film.
All right, and on that note, we'll end it. Thank you very much.